All right. I'm very curious about this. I know we just covered a Call video, but Call apparently thinks that on January 5th, everyone who got vaccinated is going to die or something. Of course, that isn't true. The vaccinations are safe, effective, and you should get them and get the booster when you can, please. So let's take a look.
If you've ever had this feeling that something was terribly wrong with the world that we live in, but you couldn't figure out just what it was, then you've come to the right place. Secret societies, mystery religions, and the Illuminati have been controlling our reality since the beginning of time. But not anymore, because there is an awakening happening, and you are about to become a part of it. Wake up, because this is...
Sorry, I got a scam text message.
a call for an uprising.
This is a call for an uprising. Welcome to today's show. I've been meaning to cover this for a few weeks. I've been waiting for the new year to come in, so it's closer to the actual deadline for this occurring. But January 5th, 2022 is the big 5G rollout, which they announced last year. A lot of 5G towers are going to be activated, and this is going to be a huge, huge deal. Not just because of the EMFs, which will...
For the record, literally, yes, 5G on the bingo card, of course. For the record, I guess I should show you guys this. Hold on. I don't know how well this is going to show up. My phone literally has 5G right now. I have 5G in the entire house. I live in an area that's 5G covered, most of it. When I go out, most of the time I have 5G. Just to be clear. Can you see that? The 5G focus camera, gosh darn it. I can't get it to focus. Come on. You bitch. It's 5G. It's not easy to see, but I have 5G coverage right now. I do have a foldy phone, yes. It's very cool. I love this phone. It did cost $1,800 though, and I'll be paying it off for the next 2 years. It's okay. It's zero interest. Mike Max says, I guess I'm a ghost because my Fold 3 and Wi-Fi uses 5G. Yeah, I have 5G. Not only do I have a phone, I have a smartwatch that I wear that Baja got me for Christmas. So, I guess I'm dead.
Affect everyone, not just because...
May you ask what 5G refers to? I don't have 5G, but I do have 5D. 5G is 5th generation cell phone data technology. It's basically a faster way to receive data to your mobile devices. Super Greggy Pants says, oh boy, does Call think we're living in the plot of the Kingsmen? I guess so. I don't think he's seen that movie, though, since it didn't come out before the year 2000.
Of what it's going to do from a standpoint of what the media is talking about, causing issues with airplanes and other types of technology out there, potentially causing accidents and things like that to occur. But obviously, we're all very well aware of a certain something that's something that people have been putting inside of them.
Here we go. It's time to report Call's video again. Do 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 do. Spammer misleading. Promo no. Harmful or dangerous acts. Other dangerous acts. Claims vaccines are harmful. And that 5G is going to kill people. Report! Oh boy, uh-oh, I'm accidentally hitting the share button at this timestamp. Uh-oh, finger slip.
That can be triggered.
Blackwing Hackety with 45-bit says, I'm waiting for foldy phone tech to get better and come down in price before I get into it. Understandable. I like this kind of shit, though, so I was willing to pay for it, especially considering I use it for my job anyway, so it's fine.
With the waves of a 5G tower, which could cause a massive, well, zombie-like apocalypse. Let's just...
No, it can't. No, it cannot. No, it can't. It's not entirely a tax write-off. Only part of it is. But anyway... Ooh, what am I rolling on? Oh, it's fine. Anyway, the actual wavelengths, the electromagnetic spectrum that 5G uses, is already around us all the time. In fact, I believe it was one of the... I did it as dangerous acts, but you could also do probably misleading or spam, whatever. As long as you actually in the report explain what he's doing and he's being anti-vax and saying 5G is dangerous, you can report it. Because that is against their TOS. So anyway, 25% of your internet is a tax write-off. Yeah, some of mine is too. Anyway, what was I saying? Oh, so like the electromagnetic spectrum that 5G uses, to my understanding, used to be used for broadcast television, but now that they nixed broadcast television using like analog waves and stuff, and now it's digital, they auctioned off those rights, and it was bought by, you know, companies that developed 5G. So, yeah, they're not new. It's just using them for different things. Anyway, forced sterilization, population control. Yeah, I'd count this.
Just say that, even though a lot of people don't want to believe it. The truth of the matter is, the reality that we see around us is not.
Mike Max says, Call, you're not being a good Christian because you're becoming a false prophet. Becoming? I think he's been one for a while.
The real reality of what's going on. And the things that we talk about on this channel, and that a lot of you research on your own, are the actual truths of what's going on in this world, as crazy as they sound. So the 5G rollout is coming on the 5th. They're already warning people about potentially dangerous problems. Boeing and other companies want to push back on the 5G rollout because they are afraid of what might happen with air travel.
That doesn't even make sense. 5G signals don't travel very far. 5G signals are as such that they are stronger when you are close to them and can transmit data very quickly. But their signal drops incredibly fast when you get further away from them. So an airplane that is like already up in the air away from the airport should not be susceptible to 5G at all. Like, you need 5G towers all over the place. You need way more 5G towers to transmit 5G than you would like a 4G cell phone tower, because it has a longer range, but it's slower. So no, I do not think so, Call.
This is part of the show, of course. They want there to be problems with air travel. They want less and less people to travel. More and more flights are getting canceled because Omni. And this, of course, is going to eventually, we're going to see the passport put in place. Less people being able to travel for work. More people losing their jobs. And, of course, more border.
Get Zoom, Call. Lily loves stuff. Or, you know, be a responsible adult and get vaccinated. Lily Love Stuff with 50 bit says, oh, guess what I found out this morning? My first interaction with my mother this year is finding out my mom believes that Bill Gates is using vaccines to kill people in Africa. And thus, I am to real racist for getting vaccinated. She's a nurse in your state, so enjoy that knowledge. Okay, that's gonna be Why Is It Always Michigan on the bingo card.
Put into place, restrictions put into place of people going in and out of states being pretty much quarantined into their states, which is what is to come. But let's look at how the media at least is talking about this with the 5G rollout.
Major warning from the airlines. A brand new G5 wireless network could
G5. Astrofox, which I assume is saying what they're about to say in this news thing. There are debates about the air travel industry. There are concerns that 5G signals may interfere with the system they use to land, take off in low visibility conditions. Sounds like the solution to that, if that is the case, would be to ban 5G towers within a certain distance of an airport. Has nothing to do with what Call's actually saying about the zombie thing. H. Baird says, cell phones can mess up certain airplane instruments, namely very high-frequency omnidirectional radial. Most airlines use GPS nowadays, but the VORs define a lot of the airways.
Havoc with flights in the new year. Following yesterday's Senate hearing, the head of United Airlines called on AT&T and Verizon to slow down the rollout of their G5 service. He says it could delay or divert or even cancel flights and impact hundreds of thousands of passengers. The reason? Well, the FAA and aviation experts say the 5G network could interfere with sensitive technology on the planes. But as we've reported here, it's fine in other countries, and the FCC is now pushing back. Here's NBC's Kerry Sanders.
Cell phone companies have hyped 5G as a major leap forward in technology, allowing data to move faster than ever before. But just weeks before AT&T and Verizon's 5G towers go live, a warning about possible interference with crucial technology pilots rely on,
thing,
specifically altimeters, an instrument.
And they're saying it's in other countries already, so maybe just they're being overly cautious, which I don't have a problem with being overly cautious. I'd rather they be overly cautious than underly cautious about it, but if the evidence doesn't bear out their concerns, then it doesn't bear out their concerns. Blackwing Hecate says, I wonder if Call knows about how evil the United Nations organization, the World Health Organization, is. Spongy Lord with 100 bits says, I scrolled through comments on that video you reported. A lot of people claiming they're feeling the effects of 5G already. They're attributing their recent headaches, stomach problems, and mental issues to 5G. Yeah, of course they are. They can't just go see a doctor.
Used in almost every landing. It tells pilots the plane's distance from the ground. Imperative when landing in low visibility or bad weather. Just last week, the Federal Aviation Administration issuing an extraordinary airworthiness directive that reads, in part, altimeters cannot be relied upon to perform their intended function if they experience interference from wireless broadband operations. Airline executives on Capitol Hill Wednesday.
I think if you were to ask us what our number one concern is here in the near term, it is the deployment of 5G.
The airline industry warns flights could be canceled or forced to divert to airports without 5G interference, potentially impacting thousands of flights a day and millions of passengers, especially at big airports nationwide. The airline industry is urging cooperation to resolve the issue.
We could absolutely solve this and live in a world where there is 5G available.
The cellular industry and the Federal Communications Commission say 5G has already rolled out in over 40 countries around the world without impacting aviation. AT&T and Verizon are also committing to reduced 5G power levels near airports.
Does it make sense, though, that one hand of the government, the FAA, and the other hand of the government, the FCC, didn't figure this out in advance?
They have not been.
Wait, is that guy surprised the government is incompetent? Oh boy.
Been able to get in the same room and reach consensus to this point.
Troubling to you?
It's causing a degradation in aviation safety. It's very troubling to me.
Again, the issue is with 5G cell phone towers, not the cell phones that we all use. And it's important to note that government engineers say that the frequency that T-Mobile uses does not interfere with a plane's avionics.
Okay, so it sounds like they shouldn't allow, if it is a concern, and they actually test it, and it's a genuine concern, then the issue would just be don't allow towers to have signals within a certain distance of airports. I don't know how Call is going to turn this into a conspiracy thing.
Interesting, right? Another thing, of course, is interesting. I'm sure you remember I covered this with the Stretch Armstrong, predictive programming, and, this is something that people should keep in mind as far as humans are concerned, because if they have something inside of them which could react.
Microchips on the bingo card. Microchip implants on the bingo card.
Act to the radio frequencies and the radio waves that come from a specific tower, well, you could have something like this go on.
But your chip makes it possible to control everyone in Charter City, whether they're marked or not.
Oh, the Stretch Armstrong show. There's a kid's cartoon show based on Stretch Armstrong. It's like a reboot of the Stretch Armstrong character as a superhero. And I guess in this show they had chips inside people, which Call is using to declare that it's predictive programming. Baja says, LMAO, airlines being overly cautious about 5G, but Delta Airlines was the one that pushed CDC to say people with COVID can go back to work. Oh my god, I hate this country. I really, really do. Oh god, Delta Airlines asked for this. Yikes. CDC staff I spoke to weren't aware of the guidance until it dropped. Says staff is now being asked to write scientific justification. Good effing lord. It's like that movie Don't Look Up. I hate it. I hate it all. That's not how science works. For what specifically? Like the thing with the CDC? I guess I showed it on stream. That counts, sure. That's not how science works. Tea with Goblins with 100 bits says, Happy New Year, Hannah. The 31st was my birthday, and I went to a friend's outdoor party to celebrate. Lo and behold, have been exposed to COVID. Happy birthday to me. Taking a rapid antigen test now. Wish me luck. Good luck. We'll go over the bingo card after the video. Capitalism needs blood sacrifice to run. That it does.
Oh, nothing scary about that at all.
It's a cartoon for children, Call. Why were you watching Stretch Armstrong?
Right? And of course, as I've covered on this channel, talking about the World Economic Forum, they talked about the Great Reset, and the Great Reset had everything to do with 5G and technology and getting technology inside of you and how 5G was going to run and control the world. And they weren't just talking about driverless cars and things like that where people think, oh, well, that's what's going to happen with. They were talking about full control of humans.
Call, you can't control humans like that. We do not have technology to control someone unilaterally. We don't even understand the brain well enough to do that, theoretically.
The first thing about 5G is it's an opportunity for transformation.
These technologies will form the world of the future. We cannot afford to be written out of that future.
You have to keep in mind that more or less everything will change.
We as an industry classify 5G as better speeds, lower latency, and the ability to connect with a very large number of devices that are suited for very high-end applications.
Some of the applications that are likely to come from...
Call always takes these, like, basically advertisements super seriously, and I don't know why. Is this another, like, World Economic Forum thing?
5G, autonomous driving, developments in the healthcare area, smart cities, manufacturing, energy.
The 4G technology is connecting people. The 5G technology will be connecting objects.
Yeah,
when we talk about global connectivity, the relevant measure would be the number of connected devices. If there's roughly 20 billion connected devices today, it's projected globally there will be 50 billion connected devices by the year 2030 alone.
In order to be able to handle all of this traffic, you require a network that is much more flexible, and that's what 5G will bring.
It will be machines talking to machines, IoT or Internet of Things.
Admiral Owl, thanks for 14 months.
Manufacturing, for example, you can monitor much better all of the machinery that is part of the manufacturing process as well as the logistics.
You can start to predict and anticipate where the defects will happen. And as a result, you can improve the efficiency that can translate into billions of dollars of savings for the industry.
Just imagine a new scenario where everything is connected. Do we need traffic lights? We don't need traffic.
Did I hear Elon saying something about getting people to Mars within a decade? I mean, in fairness, he said he was going to do that years ago anyway. Like, I think his original timeline for Mars was getting people to Mars in, like, 2020 or 2021 or something. I don't remember.
Traffic lights?
He's constantly making shit up, so.
You just speak and say, I'm going home. The network knows where your home is. The network knows where all the cars and the traffic is.
The result of that ends up being reduced energy consumption, reduced carbon footprint.
For many years, environmental policy relied on educated guesses and hunches. There wasn't really a very strong evidence base.
Yes, the solution to the problems of capitalism, according to this organization. More capitalism. Great. Blackwing Hackety says, going to Mars is like cold fusion and small solar cells continually 30 years away.
This is where I think technology can help us far outpace what we've been doing in the past.
What 5G will open up is this instrumentation and transportation of data that could really take healthcare to a completely new level. Right now, if someone's having a heart attack, there's no way of sensing that. 5G and beyond will allow the early detection well before you even feel the symptoms.
5G is going to underpin.
No company, if we're talking about capitalism, is ever going to take on that liability. Because I have a thing on my smartwatch, for instance, that monitors heart rate and heart rhythm, and it explicitly says on there, this is not to be used for detecting a heart attack, because they don't want to be liable if someone has a heart attack and the thing doesn't tell them. No company's gonna do that. That's not how it works.
The digital economy in many countries, and that's why it's really important that we get these enabling
Annie Kai, thanks for 8 months, says, looks like I'm 1 month from a sub baby.
conditions right.
But I think we have a behavioural issue that we need to address.
We spend a lot of time engaged with our devices to the extent that we're looking at how do we actually make people look up when they cross the road. There's one thing about being a smart city. The other challenge is, do you use this technology well? Does it make us happier people? Do we use the city in a better
No. Technology isn't going to make you happy.
way?
We need to focus on not just the near-term economic benefit for the corporate world, but the societal benefit that 5G will bring.
If you put a VR...
It's so weird to me that they qualify like that as if it's obvious that the corporate interest should come first, but we also need to think of society. How about you fucking flip it? What? What the fuck? I hate everyone.
A lab in a school, the students can explore the pyramids of Egypt or even the solar system. But on the continent, there are challenges with even basic internet access today.
A lot of infrastructure in countries is built by governments in order to attract corporate investment. So governments need to decide what are the infrastructure elements they should be encouraging.
KBS666 says there are heart monitors you can wear at home, but they're not cheap and are worn on the chest, not the wrist.
Investment in
5G gives us the potential to leapfrog into the next generation of connectivity. And I really hope policymakers, tech entrepreneurs,
fucking World Economic Forum. I hate these guys.
Mobile operators, civil society activists pay real attention to making sure that this era of human history really becomes the generation where we close that gap between the rich and poor parts of the world.
The World Economic Forum basically feels like a global system. The World Economic Forum, to me, basically feels like a bunch of corporations coming together and trying to figure out how to best develop developing nations in order to exploit their labor and resources for the good of large corporations. It has nothing to do with developing, you know, real infrastructure to help people. It has everything to do with how can we best exploit these developing economies, and it is so fucking gross.
So these are all things to keep an eye on as this rollout occurs on January 5th, which is right around the corner. It's obviously a few days from now. And you can expect lots of things to happen. You hear weird...
Oh, good. Call's making an actual prediction. This is good, because this is 4 days away. So in 4 days, when nothing happens, will Call admit that he's an idiot? I doubt it.
Stories about behavior. Those are things to keep an eye on. Behavior changes in people. Why? Because these are the types of things that can cause that. Obviously, we know the dangers of EMF and these types of waves on people in general who don't even have the...
There isn't a danger of EMF. Not a thing.
A specific something inside of them. Imagine those who do and what it could do to them. AT&T
5G is not ionizing. You're fine.
AT&T and Verizon, they're the ones who have been given authorization by the FCC to deploy C-band spectrum 5G wireless with a rollout scheduled January 5th. The Federal Aviation Administration, as you heard in the video earlier, as well as CEOs of Boeing and Airbus America's pushback on the agreement, noting that 5G can cause potential flight diversions and delays, which it won't really... Much won't come of it because they can't blame... If something was to happen with an airline or something like that, and they blamed it on 5G, then people would say, we got to get rid of the 5G. They don't want people to say, get rid of the 5G. They want people to say, give us the 6G. So that's why it's never going to be a thing where people have to worry.
Psychotropic Thunder says, 5G is several thousand times less powerful than visible light.
Worry about that type of stuff. It's just the give.
Nothing's going to happen with 5G, and then eventually 6G is going to start being developed and come around, and Call's going to do this all over again, even though... he was wrong. I don't know if he ever actually made 4G videos, but I guarantee if 6G comes around, he'll do the exact same thing.
Give and the take, the push and the pull, as always. They want to give you a little bit of something, to give you a little bit of, oh, wait, is this okay? Is it sure? Are we sure? I'm a little nervous. Instead of just saying, it's what's best for you. There's nothing to be worried about. They always give you a little breadcrumb of, oh, but maybe it's not the best thing. And then it comes out and nothing happens and everyone goes, that's a
so you know it, nothing's going to happen.
Relief. Let's move on to 6G. That's how...
you see, nothing happening is part of my prediction of their nefarious plan, and therefore, when I fail, I'm really succeeding. Genius. Raven G3226 says, RN, China is doing some infrastructure stuff for Africa. I don't mean to suck off China, but they're actually helping them in a material way. The only reason America does stuff like that is to exploit resources, and most of the time leaves places worse off. Meanwhile, the CNN, BBC coverage of the situation is China bad. In fairness, China is not doing this altruistically. You could argue that they're doing it mutually beneficially. I don't know about the details, but for instance, China building ports in various cities or updating ports in various cities in Africa, or all around the coasts of Africa. They're doing so, but then as a deal, they want free access for their ships to enter and exit the ports. Seems like a mutually beneficial consideration. I can't speak to it. I'm not well researched, but acting as though it's only altruistic is naive. Countries don't generally do things for only altruism. But I do think that a foreign policy that deals in mutual benefit is a really good thing. Unfortunately, China also runs concentration camps, so that fucking sucks. But, you know, it is what it is. I'm sure they're gonna go in there and try and exploit resources of Africa, just like the UK did, just like the United States did. It's, I guess, their turn as a superpower to fuck over developing countries. It's unfortunate.
That's how this stuff works. The top airlines trade group filed an emergency request for the Federal Communications, the FCC, to delay the rollout, which again is on January 5th. There's massive pushback from pretty much just the airlines. Wireless companies have agreed to roll out the 5G service at reduced power for a temporary amount of time in order to compromise with airline groups. But Airlines for America said that that would not be enough, the news outlets noted. So, you know, it'll be, it's at a reduced power, which it probably won't even be at. That's just them, you know, trying to tell people that they're being extra safe for people who are nervous about, you know, this type of technology. They say despite these meritless claims, the wireless industry continues to collaborate in good faith with the aviation industry, the FAA, and the FCC, and remains confident with a positive resolution can be reached. Well, they're only 5 days away, so you can count on this thing absolutely being rolled out, more of these towers being turned on.
Again, it reaches my house. I have 5G coverage as we speak. It's been this way since Baha and I moved into this house months ago. I'm just bathing in it every day, Colin. I've been vaccinated for almost a year. Not quite a year. A year minus 4 months or so. It's fine. Nothing's happening, Col. Chill out. Dr. White with 100 bits says, at this point, I just assume exploiting Africans is the rite of passage to become a superpower. Oh, I hate the world. I really do. Why are humans awful? Why are we such dog shit to each other? We can't just help each other mutually. We have to one-up each other and hurt each other to exploit those who have, you know, less resources than us already. It's fucked up.
And then, like I said, you have to keep an eye on behavior, human behavior, how people are acting. Stories that come out about weird things that people are doing, you know, behavioral-wise. Not just like moods and things like that, attacks and just weird random things. I mean,
does Call not realize that most Wi-Fi routers give off 5G signals in your own home? I didn't know that.
Obviously the mainstream media is not going to report on people foaming at the mouth and things like that. They never will, they never have. They only cover the things that fit in their best interest of their agendas. They can't wake anyone up to what's actually going on. But this is something that's really important for all of us to keep an eye on. It's something I'm going to cover continuously as we get to January 5th and then after, keeping an eye on stories surrounding weird events that might occur, any types of things that are happening to people who live near these towers, obviously anything that happens behavioral wise.
Call, I've been in 5G for months, and trust me, I was already like this before the 5G, so it hasn't affected me. Oh god, I hope the 5G doesn't make me cis or straight. Ugh.
And, you know, what can you say? Be prepared for the zombie apocalypse. A lot of people have been talking about since the potion that all it takes is them to turn a switch on. Well, this would be that switch. So keep an eye on this. Make sure you share this with people and they're aware. I know a lot of people think this time.
Oh, someone was confusing 5 gigahertz frequencies with 5G? Gotcha.
Type of stuff is crazy, but that's because they just live in the world where they think reality is on the news and they don't realize that they've been completely duped.
Tube Man with 100 bits says if 5G signals were literally killing people, I think even every news organization on Earth would be talking about it. Yeah, I don't know if you know this, but killing your labor force is really bad for business.
Completely lied to, and the dangers of technology and what they're doing are severe and serious, and as humans, we've continued to allow them to get away with this stuff with no regulations and no restrictions.
I'm pretty sure there are regulations surrounding broadcast and stuff like this. Cell phone signals, there are absolutely regulations called.
See it happening right in front of your face. You know, like the EMF waves and stuff, you can't see it right in front of your eyes. You know, unless you have something on or some type of glasses, some type of way to read the waves, then people don't care.
Wait, does Call think that you can put on glasses like in They Live and see radio waves?
They only care if it's like, oh, I got wounded, there's a wound on me, I got shot or something like that. Then they care. But nothing...
I would care if I was shot, yes.
As long as it's not happening right in front of their face, they just think, it's safe, it's fine, nothing's happening, you're crazy, you're tinfoil hat wearer, because they're not...
You literally are. You literally are, and I know a thing or two about tinfoil, believe me.
Naive fools. So, I'll keep an eye on the story, I'll report, I'll cover it, I'll also be covering on the website, callforuprising.com. Again, check out the website if you haven't, share your channel, share your info, share what's going on in your town. It's really important that we all stay connected, that's the place to do it. I'm not sure how long I'll be here on YouTube. I'm one strike away, of course, from a 2-week ban. So please make sure you sub to my backup channel, The Fire Rises, which is pasted below. And
here's a link to this video for, you know, apropos of nothing.
I want to thank all of you and the Patrons for being here. Appreciate all of you greatly. Thank you so much. God bless you and your families.
So that was that. I'm glad we're done with Call for the day. He's still delusional and crazy, and at least this time he actually set a goalpost that we can make fun of in a couple days. Well, 4. Call for ban evasion there? Yeah, sure. I'll give it to you. Let's take a look at the bingo card while we're at it. See you later, Call.